I see all perspectives. Like, I get that. Because the thing is like, there's always going to be, like, the problem with the law in general, and this is, like, from, me being in the field, is there's always going to be someone or a way to exploit it, right? Definitely. So it's, like, it doesn't matter. Sometimes it's, like, you're never going to get it perfect.
Yeah,
so
it's either exploited in this way or in this context.
You're never going to get it perfect, right? So that's the problem, is that, like, once, I feel like the law should be better for once the child is here for the benefit of the child. Like, I feel like once the child is in the world, right, it should be set up so that, the parents, like, but also the parents are also, like, taken care of in some way. And that's the thing, is, like, I wouldn't know the perfect solution to that, because if you don't have parents that are financially doing well, whether it's support from the government or from their job, then of course the kid's not going to do well. So if you have the father putting all his funds towards the kid, but then he doesn't have enough funds for himself, well, in the end, he's going to be suffering anyways, or he's going to freaking, I don't know, die or something, or turn to crime, right? So it's like, the reality is, like, it's like, we're not going to get it perfect. We just have to try as much as we can to try to get it as good as possible, but that's, like, in a perfect world. Family law is so messed up, because it's like, you want it to be easy in a way that, like, the kid is not stressed out by, like, constant legal proceedings, right? And having to see this war with their parents.
Correct.
But at the same time, you don't want it to be so easy that the wrong person gets custody, right?
Yeah.
Right? So, because it's like, it's also stressful for the child to go through that. And I think that's what they think about as well.
Also moving back and forth, right? Like, they
yeah.
have a child from point A.
Yeah, it's like one day they're with their mom, and all of a sudden they're with their dad, and they're just like, I can't.
It's like the hybrid models that they're trying to, like, implement to make it seem like, best of both worlds, but in reality that's not always beneficial, right? Like, it may work for the parents based on their schedules and stuff like that, but that child is being tossed around like a ping pong.
Exactly, and
like,
and that's traumatic for them too.
Precisely, right?
Yeah.
It takes a toll on them and stuff like that.
And that's why family law is a hot mess.
Conditions them when they're growing up.
Because you're dealing with such high emotions. Like, you're dealing with people's, like, personal lives and personal relationships.
And development too, right?
Yeah.
Like, from a child they're developing.
It's not like you ripped me off, bitch, you owe me money, I'm gonna fucking sue you. It's like it's like who does the kid stay with, mommy or daddy? Like, how often do I see them? Like, and it's really messed up in general, right? But sorry.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say, like, but I don't know, for me it's like.
You gonna say the Drake thing.
Oh yeah.
But go on.
Yeah, sure. So with the Drake incident, it's like he had hooked up with a girl, and they used a condom and everything. He went to the washroom, put hot sauce on the condom.
Wait,
and then
what?
Yeah. So
this is real.
Yes, yeah. It's a whole, like, lawsuit and stuff.
Tabloid.
No.
Fact
No. Okay, look. Yeah. I'm glad. So they went to the bedroom, whatever, did their thing. He came into the condom. He went to the washroom. She's in the bedroom. He went to the washroom. He opens a hot sauce bag, pours it into the condom with the sperm, and dumps it in the garbage. So the hot sauce kills the sperm cell. Okay. In my mind, it's like, why don't you just flush it? Anyways, throws it in the garbage. Okay. Then he leaves.
So he does it so she doesn't take the sperm after.
Yeah, but she went to the garbage and put the sperm in her
the hot sauce
to get inseminated, and ends up burning herself, and now wants to sue Drake. She wants to sue him. But Drake is like...
It's like why am I responsible for you putting garbage in your vag?
Yeah, Adonis.
Yes,
Adonis.
Yeah. And it's funny, because Drake looks... they don't look anything alike, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's because of the genetics and stuff.
Drake's son. Drake's son is a redhead white kid, in my...
I thought it was albino. Is he albino?
I don't know. The way
that one makes it... Dude, genetics are fucking weird. Like, I could tell you stories.
Just like skin? Oh, okay, yeah.
My oldest kid is a literal replica of me.
It's mini you. Yeah.
Well, my friend...
That's how it is sometimes. Because
one of my friends in high school had blonde hair, green eyes, and her mom and dad both had brown hair, brown eyes. The reason she looked like that was because of her great-grandma.
Oh, so genetics can go, like, so far back.
Yeah.
Genetics are weird. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
What if a dude wants to have a child and the woman doesn't want to have a child, right? And the dude says, okay, well, I will get someone else pregnant by any other means, whether it's like go fuck someone else or go to one of them sperm clinics.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
The woman still doesn't agree with this, right? So that's one of those worlds where I'm thinking dudes locked into either not having a child because of the female perspective. You know what I'm saying? If he goes to have a child with the same woman and doesn't want to have a child with them.
So that's why that's a discussion they should have as a couple. Though.
Yeah.
Like that's something I feel like you should have when you get serious with somebody.
Okay.
Right?
I see.
What does
okay.
locked mean though?
Oh, like let's say they had a marriage, like let's say they didn't have a talk prior, and then let's say they got married, and then they had to talk about getting kids or how many kids and this, and then the girl's very firm or something. Maybe that's where I think it's a hypothetical.
Yeah, it's more
not okay. Well, not
That's
this.
why I kept saying in a broad sense, right?
So I have a few comments if I
you
could.
go first.
So I think we can incorporate surrogation, right? Because for like gay people, lesbians and stuff like that, if they want to have children, they need to think more outside the box, and they need to find other ways, right? So in this scenario, let's say A and B, they want to have a child. The guy is interested in having the child, but the girl's not willing to carry it or anything like that. An option would be they can go to the doctor, they can take her egg, his sperm, and they can find a third person C,
Is it
and that person,
in Canada?
correct. It's expensive to get the fertilization.
No, but to have a surrogate in Canada, is it expensive?
It's expensive to do the fertilization, and it's also expensive for that third person, in this case the second woman, person C, to carry the baby for 9 months, and there's a lot of legalities.
And you also have to help support them during that time,
correct, right? Because that's nurturing that baby for those 9 months.
Well, luckily we don't have to pay for visits to the clinic like in US.
So
besides to change your mind, you don't get that baby anymore.
no, they sign paperwork. Because it's not her egg nor her sperm or whatever. Yeah. So she's just like an incubator. Like she's just like a walking thing. But now in some gay couples and certain scenarios, the two guys, one of them will have their sperm. They want to find a woman to carry the baby, right? So they're gonna use her egg, and she carries the baby. So those certain seconds, she'll be like, yeah, I can carry it, no problem. And then she grows an emotional attachment. She reads books, listens to music. She feels it kicking, stuff like that. But remember, they have to sign legality things, specifically here in Canada, because we're very forward and progressive in this sense.
Has there ever been a scenario where they successfully kept the child?
I don't know about that. That's a Google question.
I'm curious.
I'm basing that
Fact
comment I made off a movie.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's different.
No, I'm sure things have happened, which is why other implementations have been.
Depending on the country, because the thing is the U.S. and Canada, even though we have similarities, we also have huge differences. So it's
I think California and New York are probably the most similar to Canada because of
States don't believe in abortion, like the Texas.
The whole Roe. We were talking about the whole Roe versus Wade thing that was overturned. Did you hear about that?
No,
Okay, so Roe versus Wade was a huge case, and I could probably be butchering it right now because I'm a little tipsy, so just warning. But it was overturned, and I think it was something related to how it made it so that it was a federal thing for abortion, but then because they overturned it recently, now each state can decide their stance on abortion, which has caused a lot of problems because there are some states that are very against abortion in general, and they've made it I've read stories, and this is why I need fact checking on this, but I've read stories about how even scenarios where the mom who, let's say the baby's stillborn or something's wrong, and it's the baby's not gonna be alive when she gives birth to it, but it's gonna potentially kill her. And so that's when she needs an abortion, and they're not even allowing that in some states because they just do not.
That's extreme, right?
Because they've made it black and white of you can't have it at all, and
under no circumstances.
Under no circumstances,
there always has to be exceptions.
And the doctor will go to jail or lose their license or something if they perform.
They held accountable. They make
and it's causing more. And it's causing more back alley abortions, which causes severe health issues, right?
Yeah.
So fact check.
But another fun, interesting fact about that, a lady, she was pregnant and she was in the HOV lane. And in the HOV lanes, you always need to have 2 or more people. Yeah. And so she gets pulled over, and they're like, you're but you're by yourself. She goes, actually, because of the Roe versus Wade, she's like, this baby is a life, so I'm actually 2 people. So she's taking it to court and to make it seem based on these legalities, this is the person.
Technically, it's alive. that was our whole discussion too. Of like when you consider it another person.
Yeah. So this is where I want to bring in the Quran and stuff.
I'm gonna say something really terrible. Everyone's gonna hate.
No, that's okay. Don't get canceled on the first episode.
No, but what I was saying was like, I wanted to fact check whether or not it was the case that they weren't even allowing like abortions for people who like medically needed it to not die during childbirth.
That's messed up.
Yeah.
It truly is messed up. People should have the right
Well,
to have an abortion.
See, the thing that sucks about being a woman is like, you know, if you live somewhere and it's like you get raped or like, you know that the baby is gonna be dead and you're gonna die, and they're just like, no, we're not doing it. And it's like, dude, like, what am I supposed to do? Like, I literally just exist here and things are just happening to me without my consent, without my, like, I have no power over this. Like, I don't have power over the fact that my baby died in my womb. I don't have power over the fact that someone decided to like aggressively, like, you know, attack me.
Yeah.
Like, it's like I'm just here and you're like, actually no, like, you're gonna have to have this child.
Again, those circumstances, very understandable, right?
Yeah, but if you abolish abortion, that's what you're doing. It's like it's like, I don't care what your opinion is. Like me, it's like, obviously my opinion is like the woman should do whatever she wants. But even if you're of the opinion that, you know, the abortion should only be in these circumstances, it's not going to be allowed if you abolish it, or if you make it like up to the state or wherever to decide, actually, we're not going to allow it at all. Like, people can't do it. Because then it's like, in the end, there are necessary circumstances for it, right?
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Yeah, so it's like, I don't know.
That's the thing with like these kind of topics and stuff, right? That makes them so controversial, is because
everyone
there's a million scenarios, a million situations, a million circumstances, and it's like, it's really hard to conform them all to like certain regulations or laws.
Yeah,
or
well,
like
that's why I strongly believe like. That's why I don't believe in religion being mixed with law. Like, I feel like the law should be for the benefit of the general population, of people of all beliefs and views.
Yeah,
right?
but what's very like I'm trying to use my words carefully. What keeps people like very opinionated is that each opposing side believes that they're doing it for the better overall,
of the population.
The better good or the better half or whatever. But it's how you look at it from an overall perspective, looking at the full spectrum. And at the end, it's like, who is really taking that gain? Who's really taking that benefit, and who's taking the toll, and who's taking on the consequences too, right? And that's all needs to be taken into consideration, because you have people that are making laws that are claiming it's for the benefit, but they're actually causing more harm, right? Yeah. And so,
well, that's the funny thing about Canadian law. If you look at our Charter of Rights, which is why, like, you know, when
it's better than America, but it could still be improved. It's
better in the way where like there is a section that's like, if you, so we have our rights, but the rights can be impeded if it's for the benefit of basically like the majority of Canada, like it's for the benefit of people. So, you know, and it's very rarely used. That's the thing I like about this country so far, is it's very rarely used, but when it is used, it's used in examples like, I think it was R.V. Oakes was the case. Okay. So this, R.V. Oakes was, this, what was it? No, that's not the example. I'm really drunk right now. R.V. Oakes was a good example in general of like how a whole other topic. But that's a good case you guys should look up, because it talks about the fact of like, you know what used to be the law in Canada was, if you were, I'm so sorry, I'm very
no, you're like, that's a topic for another time. So basically,
no, but I want to talk about this case. R.V. Oakes, Oakes. It's the reason I like the law in Canada and the way that it's set up right now is like, this case is an example, because in the U.S., like when I watch documentaries, because I'm not American, so you know, I have to watch documentaries. It seems very difficult to change law, whereas in Canada we're changing it all the time, like all over the place, which I actually kind of like, because it adapts to how society is changing
and be more progressive.
Yeah, exactly, to be more progressive. And R.V. Oakes was an example. Like, for example, if you were caught with a certain amount of like weed back in the day, you were automatically assumed to be trafficking, automatically by law.
Really? Like
back in the day, like you were trafficking. You were automatically assumed to be trafficking, like, which was actually against our rights because we had the right to be considered innocent until proven guilty, and that law was abolished with RV Oaks because the person was automatically accused of trafficking, and they had to prove that they weren't trafficking, which is completely against your rights. It's like you have to prove that I was trafficking.
Yeah, and then, exactly. I was gonna say like that.
And that case was a breakthrough case.
What did you catch me with? Papes, a lighter?
Yeah. Well, it was literally like I don't even remember how much of like the drug you had to have. It had to be more than the amount that was considered like personal use, which makes no sense because it's like some of us are fucked. Some of us have packs of it like in our fucking storage, and we just smoke it all.
Yeah.
When I was in high school, I actually got caught smoking some weed around school.
Before it got legalized,
Before it got legalized.
It was illegal.
It was in a dime bag.
Yeah.
Right there and then he told me, "Where's the rest of the weed you're selling it?" I'm like,
you're like,
I have one dime
RV Oaks, bitch.
Yeah.
Dude, like it's a gram. Like fuck you.
I know.
But that's what I mean, right? Just seeing a dime bag or seeing little baggies like that.
They assumed you were selling.
Another assumption too is if you were driving and you got pulled over, and you're like, and you had a scale, but let's say you had.
I have a scale, but it's for my gecko.
Okay. Well,
I gotta weigh her sometimes.
But this scale is just like, let's say you had no weed with you, let's say specifically in the vehicle, but you had a scale. The scale implies that you're selling or dealing, and to them, they care about that more, right?
And now, legally, you can't do that, bitch, against my rights.
How many people know that?
RV Oaks.
Right.
That's why I educate. RV Oaks, guys, if you're in Canada. No, because it doesn't make sense. It's like, why should I have to prove my innocence? Like, there's no way, like, never.
You might as well start accusing everyone.
Yeah, like, well, it's like never in the law, like in like criminal law, do you have to prove your innocence. It's always been they have to prove that you're guilty. So why the hell do I have to prove I'm not trafficking? Like, how do I prove that? You want to see the photographs of me chilling with my buds, with my like weed in the picture, being like I'm just, and then they're just like I don't know what else to say. Like, how am I gonna prove that?
Yeah.
What?
I have papes.
You're like my papes are my proof.
Yeah. I was gonna sell weed. I have papes. Let's be honest.
They're gonna be like, you smoke your own supply. That's a common practice. It's a common practice.
Yeah, you'd be surprised.
Actually, it is a very common practice.
Well, it is obviously.
He's like, obviously, but no, the police don't know that.
Yeah, I mean, Canada is working on trying to like find that middle
They always
ground
try.
and stuff. I know.
Sometimes they fail. A lot of times they fail.
But it's like the
family law is its own like I agree with you. Family law is its own monster. Sorry, go on.
No, I could never get it. Other people were like, would you ever become a lawyer? I'm like, no, not with this dysfunctional justice system. Like, no, thank you. Like, out of all the career options, I choose that.
I'm literally not allowed to. They didn't even teach us family law when I was studying to be a paralegal. Like, we're not allowed to touch it. Like, it's for lawyers. Lawyers get to do it.
And I feel like even the lawyers don't even know what they're doing. Like, let's be honest.
You know, like family cases, they're not as
they're not
they're
clear
not
cut.
yeah and
Yeah.
And like she said, to afford a family lawyer in this time and age is not cheap anymore.
It's
right?
so
A
expensive.
lot of people are self-representing that don't know any information, so family lawyers are starting to bleed.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's like I don't even know how. I remember when I was in school, I feel like it was like 60%, like almost like more than half were self-represented in family law, which is crazy. Because it's like, imagine you have to argue your own case of like you're like, I want my child because, and you don't know the law, or you do know the law but you didn't study it, like,
or you have to pay an expensive fee for the lawyer and stuff like
but
that.
then even then it's like it's not worth it because it can take years, like years and years and years.
That's really interesting because mentioning on that as well, on a little branch out is like, let's say if a new couple, they want to adopt a baby, or sorry, they want to adopt a child because let's say they've been trying to get children and one of them is fertile or whatever the case is, and it's just, it's been X amount of years. So like, let's adopt. If they were to adopt in Canada, it's gonna take them anywhere between 2 to like 5 years.
No way.
Because
really?
Yeah, because you have to prove the salary, to prove that they're not like
I'm fucked.
drinking or this. I'm dead.
I was hoping I'd adopt in the future. I'm fucked.
Well, what a lot of couples do is they adopt overseas. So
yeah, actually,
it's cheaper
teacher.
and quicker. Yeah. But if you think about it, people complain that there's so many children up for adoption, so many children that need a home, and yet the regulation for a couple to adopt a child or whatever, to give them a home.
They're not gonna accept me.
They have this whole physical Olympic training thing to kind of prove their worth, that they're qualified to take care of this child.
Wasn't there a whole
when there's
thing?
Tons of couples who are not qualified and they are having children. It's just contradictory.
I agree. Like I agree, and it's like, wasn't there a whole thing about gay couples where it's like there were gay couples that were like the most what's the word? The most
family.
The most qualified
to
have the the most qualified to have the kid, but then because they had to jump through hoops, it took them forever to have. It's like, and then there was a point where they weren't even allowing it or something. I don't know if that was the case here.
If you think about like this, let's say like two people are a couple and they want to have a child, and then it's like it takes them 3 years. Well, that couple probably got a divorce by that point,
Yeah.
Because, like, you want a child now, you don't want a child in 5 years.
And then
it's not a down payment where you want like your
a down payment on it. But it's like, imagine like the amount of arguments and the breakdown in the relationship. They want a child and they can't have it, and it's like, and it's like having to deal with that is stressful on its own as a couple. So it's like, I can imagine that by the time that they could have the child, they're like,
so I know tons of Canadian families that they go overseas to Europe. They go to Asia, they go to Africa, they go to Middle East.
I knew. I knew. Like I might be wrong. I heard this was a rumor. I could be totally wrong.
Fact check.
I have no way of fact checking this, but I had a teacher in high school, and she's lesbian, and she.
I'm not gonna say names.
Yeah.
Top.
Block out the. Black out the school. But yeah, you know her. So she had like five kids. And I'm pretty sure like the rumors were she got them from Africa. Like not even from here. Like in Canada.
I think it was her partner.
Her partner?
I think
was this a rumor?
No, I think her partner carried some and she carried some too.
From Africa?
Carried
No,
like No, but they were all black and they were white.
Then her partner is probably black.
I don't think her partner was black. I saw her partner. They were like white.
Oh.
They were white.
But that could be
they were white.
But that could be the case.
But they had like 5 black children, and then and this is why I say it's a rumor. Like it could have adopted here. I don't fucking know.
I could have sworn that she did carry.
I saw her children. Like, they were black.
Oh, you know her more
and
than
she was not.
She was your school.
And her partner, I'm pretty sure, was blonde.
Okay, so there you go. So then, therefore, like that's they chose Africa because it was easier.
But this is why I say it's a rumor, because like I don't know if it's true. Like they could have adopted 5 black children here, but like
no, they got 5 children.
Yeah, 5.
That's maybe like 10.
We had a friend that was adopted here as well.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It's still possible.
But he was adopted here. Not from overseas, right?
And challenges, like it's still possible, and we do have a system.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
But that's why I'm saying it's a rumor, because it's like maybe they waited the years to get the children here, but
they might have, But it's like if you have 5 children, let's say you average 1 child a year, like you're either very successful or you're on the good list of the government, or like whatever the case is.
I also might be wrong about the 5. I know there were at least 3.
No, there was. I remember 5.
Yeah, there were 5. Making that up, yeah. I'm pretty sure it was 5. Okay. He's corroborating. He's a witness.
Yeah, and that was like high school time.
He knows what I'm talking about.
Like 11 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, she was cool.
I loved her.
I loved her so much.
But
she was my safe place.
No, because I was like, with.
I know.
Before we bleep it
Anyways, bleep it out. Did you notice that Einstein up there?
I did, and I saw Marilyn Monroe. No, I think that was your apartment, not mine.
Marilyn Monroe?
Yeah.
So it's based off of Marilyn Monroe. It's based off of a book written about her life, but a lot of it is based off of like rumors and tabloids. No, so the one thing that I didn't like about it was how they were basing, like some of the scenes were based off of rumors and tabloids.
Yeah.
And the thing about Marilyn Monroe is like she didn't want to be presented that way. She didn't want to be seen that way.
Correct.
And so it's really shitty like to watch, especially since the director seemed very misogynistic in his comments. So, like, I don't know. But anyways,
Yeah,
I love Marilyn Monroe. She was
sure,
a
she's
badass.
Yeah, she definitely
She
was.
like, and it's like half the time, like, you know, she was the type of person. She was a Gemini. Like,
is she actually?
Yeah, she was a Gemini.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and so
There's a few celebrities that are.
Well, one of the things she would do is like if she was given a script and she thought it was garbage or it was like porn, she would like write trash and send it back to them and be like, "Fuck you." You know, she was.
They can be extreme.
Yeah, I know.
You know,
and then she started her own business. Like she did a lot of shit. Like back in the, and she was like, and watching the show, it's like some of it I like some of the aspects were kind of realistic, but others was like it felt like it was talking about abortion too. Like there were
everything relates back to
literally
it, yeah.
like there were rumors about her having abortions, and it wasn't really proven. But in the show, they made it seem like so like it was so like she had an abortion, and then she was just like, you killed your baby for this, and blah, 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 and it was, like, dramatic about it, and I'm just like, listen, okay, maybe she might have had abortions, I don't fucking know her life, but, like, she really wanted to have a fucking kid, and when she had those miscarriages, it was devastating to her.
Yeah.
And, like, the fact that it, like, I don't know, that movie, I don't think it portrayed her well. I love the actress in it.
Yeah,
She
but
got
the overall
shit.
director and stuff.
The actress got shit for her accent slipping out randomly. Like she had like I don't remember if like she's Spanish, but and the thing is I loved it. I like when
it flowed.
Yeah, but it's like every time it slipped out, I'm like she's doing a good fucking job hiding it. Like she's a good actor, like you know. And then the fact that she got shit for that, I'm like, guys, like.
They want to be kind of perfect and had that.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, I didn't want to remember that this was an actress who's not white, or actor, sorry. Actress is not a word. Actor is non-gendered.
Really?
Yeah.
So what about waiter and waitress? Is waitress not a gender?
I don't know, actually. But actor was... Yeah, there's been a lot because I think people just made up the word. Like when it was a woman, they always added S at the end. I don't think it was ever a word. Like, for actor, at least. Actor is non-gendered.
I would assume
it's a neutral term.
Yeah, it's a neutral term, but I think the reason...
English, it's a neutral term, but in other way, like French would probably still...
Yeah, because
like by translation.
I think the reason why people are adamant about it is because it was always assumed that actors were male, whereas, like... You know, there were female actors, and like, and then they made it actress. I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Well,
but, like,
back in like Shakespearean time and era.
Yeah, you couldn't have women like.
Yeah, there's a lot of I know.
Men dressed as women.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is fine.
Yeah,
I love drag queens.
That,
I love me some. What was it? 1700 drag queens.
Well, it's kind of very fascinating that men were the ones that made like high heels and
and wigs and wigs. Like men and makeup. Men were wearing makeup and high heels way before women.
Apparently, pink. Another fun fact: pink was a male
color. Yeah,
and it's like they reversed it. It's like, but why would they do it like that?
The only reason was like marketing. Like when they wanted to market like clothes and kids to like male or female children, they were like, okay, we're gonna make pink female, and it was like I don't remember when
gender reveals. Like, I don't like it. Like,
dude, what is with the gender reveal? Like who
cares?
Go
so extreme.
Dude, like the whole like what was it? The forest fires that started because of a gender reveal. All this shit. I'm like, bro, stop.
Yeah.
Like, relax. Like, gender. Okay. So, like, I don't want to shit on it too much because my friend did have a gender reveal, but it was like
I'm attending one in 2 weeks.
I know, and it's like it was a normal one though, you know. Like I think if anything, the cake. I think the cake was a thing. But yeah, when they do the crazy shit where it's like they start like setting fires, it's like relax, just buy the cake.
When we were younger, like you know, like when people were like, oh, your aunt just got pregnant. It's like there's no gender reveal. It's just like, do they know what they're having? You know, oh, it's this and this. It's just like
I think it's also like. You and I, like, we have immigrant parents, and that was never a thing. Like,
no, but
I don't think gender reveals were ever a thing in Poland. It's a North American.
But within the last 5, maximum 10 years. Like,
but it's definitely
not more than that.
It's definitely like a North American thing because, like,
yeah, for sure,
even like my half brother and sister-in-law from Poland, like, we didn't have a gender baby shower. Yes, gender reveal was. But not
baby shower was I think that's what it was. I think the baby showers was not a gender reveal. Like it wasn't like a whole
that was when,
hype suspense and stuff like that.
Like baby shower was kind of when you did any if they were to reveal a gender, they would say it at the baby shower.
Yeah, and there's 2 kinds of baby showers. There's the baby shower before the baby is born.
Yeah.
And there's the baby shower after the baby is born, right? And
yeah,
it just
I
kinda
only
helps.
went to one.
And that like those were always cute and fun because I've been to a few of those.
Yeah.
And they were nice because like they have all these events and like fun times and like drinks or whatever.
Actually, very dramatic story. This is gonna go into mental health.
Yeah. and like you're like 2.5 seconds.
Sorry, no, didn't tell your story.
Yeah, it's just that like it helps the new mom or parents have like new clothes.
That's
new toys,
true.
just to help them kind of
get
thing,
some
right?
support for when the kid comes.
For sure, maybe
yeah.
some like diapers and stuff like
Yeah,
that. Some baby
I think
powder,
my sister-in-law got like a stroller as
there
like
you
a
go.
gift.
Yeah, like, depending on
and
how
they're expensive. Like holy.
Yeah, but now it's like the whole like gathering is just to reveal like you pop a balloon if it's blue or pink, and then you have the dad going, or like like it's just like it's more of a reaction. But
the thing is,
that's
it's like in the most recent one that I'm talking about with my friend, like the dad wasn't even there, and the thing is, it's like they didn't care. I don't think they cared either way. Like it was like if it was a girl, they'd be like woo. If it was a guy, they'd be like woo.
Yeah,
and that's how it should be.
Yeah.
That's how it should be. But when I see those gender reveals where the people are like freaking out because it's not a guy, I'm like,
or not even just that, but it's like they have had like let's say 4 girls in a row. And then it's like another girl, or vice versa.
I've seen those.
It's like 3 boys in a row, and then
like,
it's another boy.
Like...
It's like then why are you doing a reveal if you're what I mean? Like you should be loving them regardless and stuff.
I know, but that's what I hate is like having to like assign gender to like how much you care about the child. Like you should love them no matter what, and maybe they do, but. One day they're gonna grow up and see that video and be like, "What the fuck, Dad? What the fuck, Mom?"
Yeah, no, precisely. I mean, you were gonna mention something as well.
Oh yeah, the what was it? The dramatic story about what? What was that related to?
Gender reveal.
No, it's before the gender reveal. What were we talking about? I forgot. I totally forgot.
Yeah.
My ADHD is like running rampant when I'm driving.
Yeah.
Sorry, what you were talking about loving the child based on his gender, to me that's like loving the child based on like if its limbs work properly.
I know.
Like, I'm gonna hate my
ableism.
child if all his limbs work. I need a paraplegic.
Well, that's ableism, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like.
And generally, you should just love your child unconditionally, regardless of what it is or.
They hate it unconditionally.
Yeah.
Well, they make it sound as if like they're not going to be able to connect with their child because of the gender. It's like, dude, you could be a dad with a daughter who fucking loves football like you do.
That's true.
You could have a son who loves fucking dressing up like you do. You know what I mean? Like it's like you could have kids like who have like varied interests. It's like as long as you raise them in a way where you allow them to be themselves. Like the one thing that frustrated me so much when I worked in a game store was when dads would come and be like, "Can you show me girl games?" And I looked at him and I'm like, "I'm a fucking gamer." And I'm like showing him all the games I like. He's like, "Those are not girl games." I'm like, "What the fuck are girl games? Like, don't start shit with me. What, Hello Kitty? You want me to play Hello Kitty?" And like, it's like, I'm not like, and that was a bad game. I actually played it. I played it just to see if it was a good game. It was a terrible game. It was a trash game. I played it till the end. It took me like an hour to beat. It was so bad. But anyways.
Yeah.
But there are kids who like it. That's fine.
Yeah, like to each their own.
Let people like things. Like when I grew up, my mom didn't tell me that's for girls, that's for boys. My mom would get pissed. Like we went to like a sprinkler and all the boys took their shirt off and ran around in their shorts. I took my shirt off and ran around in my shorts. I was like 5 years old, okay?
Yeah, your puberty hasn't hit you.
And all the moms were like, ooh, and freaking out and like telling me to put a shirt on.
You're flat.
I don't have boobs yet. And I was so mad because there was this boy I was friends with who had long hair, and for some reason I thought he was a girl because of that. So I was like, but Philip gets to go naked. And she was like, Philip's not a girl. And I'm like, oh my God. And that was when I like first discovered like prejudice because of my gender. And then my mom was so mad. She was like, you have nothing. She was like, you are flat. There's nothing there. Why are they treating you like a sexual object? Like, it was like baffling to her because to her we were babies. We were running around like who the fuck cares? You know, unless you're a pedophile. And it's like, okay, well then stay away from my fucking child.
No, exactly.
Right?
But before puberty, it's like, it's fine. Like, it's
who cares?
Whatever. Yeah,
they're shaming me for wearing spaghetti straps
It's like,
when I was 8
it'd be
years
the opposite.
old.
Like, I think if you were 5 years old and you had boobs, I think that'd be pretty concerning. You know what I mean?
It's like that's a medical condition. That's a medical condition. Or maybe you're a little too chubby.
Yeah.
But even so, who cares? Like, honestly, they're kids. Like, I didn't know there was a problem with me being topless until, like, everyone was freaking out and making me feel shame for being topless. Like, I think that's really traumatic to put on any child.
You were very, like, self-aware of, like...
Yeah, it made me so self-conscious of my body at, like, 5 years old. And I was like, why am I...
Kid, I, like, tuned out all the adults.
You're like, goodbye.
I'm like, this is my world, you guys are in it.
But I was, like, in public, and it was, like, the woman who was, like, babysitting us, and a bunch of other women were, like, so dramatic about it. And I'm there, and I'm just like, I want to... And then, you know what's even worse?
Good for your mom for defending.
But you know what the worst thing is like, sitting there watching everyone play and have fun in the sprinkler while I had to sit there and be like, I guess I don't get to have fun. What the fuck?
Well, yeah, like, I guess, like,
That's
the thing that they were looking for was, like, you wear a shirt or something.
No, but they wouldn't let me run through with my shirt. I was like, well, if I put my shirt on, and they were like, no, you don't get to go in. And I'm like, wow.
Yeah, that's so annoying.
I was like, this is fucking discrimination.
I want to go through a time portal and go back into your, like, childhood.
I do
and be
too.
like, let's reenact this, replay this the proper way.
You know,
give her a childhood.
You know, when Nico was talking about this before, with his, like, mom, like charging in, like, my mom would go to my school, like, every time my teacher would give me shit for wearing spaghetti straps, she would go and be like, what the fuck do you expect her to wear?
What?
I wore spaghetti strap shirts. Like, it was like, you know, like shirts with this strap. I would get shit for it at school and yelled at and told I can't wear that at like 8 years old. And my mom would go to the school and be like, the fuck do you expect her to wear? It's fucking 30 degrees outside. Like, I do a bad accent, but it's just like, it's 30 degrees outside. You expect her to run around in a fucking sweater? Like, she's like, what the fuck? It's not like I got some... And even if I did, like, girls, like, when I went to high school, I wore fucking tank tops. No one gave a shit. Who cares? But when I'm 8 years old, apparently it's a problem. It's like, do you have male teachers? It's like, well, they shouldn't be looking at an 8-year-old child.
They should not be. They should be
a
teacher to begin with.
It's like if you're staring at an 8-year-old child, like, that looks good. Like, no, leave.
Precisely, yeah.
Yeah,
so
it's disgusting. Like,
it's just their way of trying to, like, find a problem when the problem doesn't exist. They're trying to make something out of nothing.
In their mind, they're like protecting you. Like, in their mind, like, that was the view back then.
Yeah, well, that protecting is causing harm.
Yeah, exactly. Now we know.
I'm like, in reality, that's not the case.
It's like all you're doing is taking away my innocence, which I didn't really have.
What were the other topics?
Okay, sorry. Yes, so we were talking about consciousness.
Look, we haven't mentioned.
No,
so, okay, actually, no. But just before we
close
off and summarize, I do want to mention. What the Quran says about
please.
the abortions
about like fetuses
and life and everything like that.
Yes.
So for the most part, I could read it word by word, or I could just kind of like summarize.
Maybe summarize.
Yeah.
Unless you think reading word by word is better.
I'll try to read the situation. I'll just say, preservation of life is one of the most basic purposes. Okay. And so they just believe that, like, in general, like, abortion is considered unlawful and a major sin. It is considered, like, haram in Islam.
The majority of religions.
Yeah, but they do have some circumstances based on the stages of the pregnancy.
Okay.
They did say a big justification would be if the mother's life was in danger.
Yeah.
That's, you know, a very, like, prime exception to abort, because it's, like, it's not fair to risk the mother's life if the baby is born, right? Like, you know, like, because
that's very
at the end of the day, it's like that baby's gonna need its mom to nurture it and support it, and then the mom dies, and it's like you're literally like
the kids on their own.
It's like SOL from the beginning, right?
Interesting.
Yeah, it does mention as well that, like, apparently to them they believe that a soul enters the fetus after 120 days. So approximately.
I love how specific it is.
Yeah, so basically around after 4 months.
Okay.
So basically in the first 3 months.
And that's past when you can abort it. Like if the only way I think you can abort it after 3 months, I think it is if it's like a life-threatening thing. I think that's the only time they like really let you do it, right? Yeah. I think, or am I wrong? Jordan, fact check. When is the latest you can have an abortion? Like in Canada. The latest. Yeah, the latest. I think it's 3 months is the latest. Something like that, I feel.
No, I think Canada.
Or maybe it's more than
you
that.
You can go probably longer.
Maybe
I think
6.
There's first trimester, second trimester, and third trimester.
I think if it's in the third you can't, but the second maybe. The second trimester is what, like 6 months?
Give or take, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think because the third trimester you can't, because by that point it's just gonna be like.
Okay, so at 4 months you can't.
So
after 4 months you can't.
So it says abortion is permissible at any stage of pregnancy, even after 120 days if the pregnancy poses any exceeding danger to the mother. Mm-hmm. This must be confirmed by a qualified, trustworthy medical report.
Yeah.
2, abortion before 120 days of conception is treated on a case-by-case basis, with the previous rules kept in mind, such as permissibility if the mother's health is in danger, or the fetus is examined to have abnormality that is lethal or will cause severe disability. Right?
So they allow it. That's
they will in those circumstances and stuff like that, right? Because like the disadvantage and stuff. Yeah. Given the above, abortion remains overall sin, and can't be repented and stuff like that. So yeah, like they do have that gray area. They have a gray law kind of thing.
See, a lot of people don't realize how progressive like Muslims are. Like they're actually very progressive.
The general rule is that few providers offer abortion care beyond 23 weeks and 6 days, but there can be exceptions.
How long is 23 weeks? How many months is that?
That's probably about almost 8 months, because 4 weeks in a month. 4 times 8 is 24 weeks.
Okay, so that's longer than I thought it was.
Am I doing the math, huh?
You're like, I don't know.
Like, it's the dog.
I think I think you're right, because of a year is 56 weeks.
Just under 6 months.
Yeah.
Like 5 months.
A year is like 56 weeks, so it's almost like half a year.
Yeah,
so it's about I was
4
thinking
times 6 is 24.
I thought it was around I thought it was
3
around
times 8
6.
is 24.
I don't know my math.
Blueberry Chumchurin.
So it's I was gonna say is like,
it's like imported. It says Concord.
Yeah, I don't know why that was in my house. Like I don't know who brought that there.
I've tried this once before.
Yeah,
and
good.
it was good. So like I literally pretty much drank
It's Korean, right? This is Korean.
I thought it was Japanese.
No, it's Korean. Because it's Korean because they have the circular like symbols more so than if you look at.
You're telling to someone who's like uncultured about like I don't know.
You are cultured.
No, I know, but I mean like
I just know because
not linguistically.
Me with my anime and Korean dramas like. So when you look at Japanese and Chinese, like when you look at kanji and the font, like it doesn't have the circular symbols, but when you look at Korean, they have the very.
I mean, now that you mention it does make sense.
Yeah, they do have very distinct symbols that are different, so that's why like I'm like I know this is Korean. Like,
makes sense.
But
I was trying to read it because it said imported and it says Ontario. I'm like, well, clearly it's
imported from Ontario. It's like no, you're a fucking liar. But, no, but what I was gonna say is like people don't realize how actually progressive Muslims are, or Islam in general, because it's like one thing I learned from my friend.
They have a lot of women's rights too.
And I want to know from you too. Like one of my friends who is Muslim, she told me, like I asked her about the hijab because I was like, I know a little bit because like I grew.
That's another topic.
Yeah, well I grew up like all my friends growing up were Muslim. Like I grew up with a lot of like I had like Somalian Muslim friends. I had like Muslim friends from Turkey, from like Afghanistan, Pakistan, right? And like I remember I asked them as a kid about their hijab, but I was a fucking kid, I can't remember. But like I talked to my friend like a couple years ago about the hijab, and we were kind of joking about it, and I was like, so what? I was like, so she was telling me about it, and she said, it's actually very progressive because Muhammad, who's their prophet, the whole idea that he had was like back in the day. And I don't know if it was just the Middle East or where else. Like, I'm sure it might have been somewhere else. But, like, they had this hierarchy where women who were in a higher status or who had a lot of money would wear headscarves. Okay. And then women who were, like, poorer or in a lower class didn't. And there was a lot of violence towards those women who didn't have the headscarf. And the whole idea of the headscarf or the hijab is like to put all women on an equal standing so that they wouldn't have that happen to them because they were seen as elevated if they had the headscarf. So the whole idea was to protect women.
Yeah, to keep them more like uniformed and equal.
Because there was a lot of violence against women who were seen as lower class. And that basically put them all on the same plane. And I thought that was like a beautiful
like,
idea.
That's new to me.
Yeah,
Actually,
you didn't even know.
I'm gonna fact check that, Mom.
Fact check. You're like, Mommy, tell me about the hijab. Yeah, but I thought it was interesting especially because like it's more specific towards men. Like men have to see you in the hijab. Women can see you without the hijab. Yeah. Men have to see you in the hijab because there was a lot of violence from men towards women, right?
Sure.
So
it also keeps the woman's values to herself by keeping her like being like, I stand by these things and this and
the whole idea is just like it's essentially a protection for them, and I like that because like listen, I have the Polish grandmas, babushkas. They wore the headscarves. Okay, my grandma wore the headscarf.
Like short and like hunchback and everything.
Little tiny with their headscarves. Okay, like I grew up with old ladies with the babushkas.
I love that.
You know, and what's funny is like I learned that like there were a lot of like exchanges from other countries and Europe and Eastern Europe specifically because we're not far from you guys. We're like right next to you guys.
All of our cultures are so
and it kind of mixed, and we would get gifts from you guys that were like headscarves, so we would wear the headscarves. And I was just like, I thought that was such a beautiful like intermingling
like symbolic
of cultures.
Kind of thing.
Yeah. And I was just like sorry, I see these memes of like the Eastern European grandmas with their headscarves sitting on the bench, and it's like, I don't need surveillance. I have my babcha. She's there and she's watching.
Yeah, you know? That's interesting.
But yeah, I just thought that was cool because I was like, no one really understands it. And that's why I love the whole like movement now of like, you know, a woman deciding whether she wants a headscarf or not. Like that's her choice. Yeah. And it's like, just don't force it on people. But if a woman wants to wear a headscarf, a woman doesn't, like that's her choice. Right? Yeah. And I think it has a beautiful meaning.
Yeah, and it's even like so broken down too because it breaks down to who the woman can reveal her and her sense of natural beauty towards. So it's like her uncle, her brother, her dad, her this, her husband, her sons. But they'll make certain exceptions if it's like if a woman wears a hijab, but let's say she adopts a son. Yeah. If that son hits puberty, because they're not related by blood, she will have to by law. Oh. She will. Yeah, I know. It's even like that specifically.
But see that's why like I don't agree with it being a law, because it's like
it's not like a law. It's just like
Oh, you mean like the religious?
Yeah, like the
requirement.
Correct. Yeah, sure. That's a good way to phrase it and stuff, because it's just like it's broken down out of like the cultural and religious respect kind of thing.
I mean, it kind of makes sense. Like, I get where it comes from.
But like the adoption is really rare because most part like we have such big families. So,
like, we don't need to adopt.
No, because like like. Yeah. If a parents, let's say, die in a car accident or whatever the circumstance and scenario is, that child will always go to an uncle or an aunt or grandma or this or whatever.
It's always with the direct family.
Exactly, that's related by blood, and a small off chance they're adopted by someone non-blood related, right? But they still have to take that into consideration on how to go about it and stuff like that.
That's so interesting. See, I love learning this. Like, I that's like my, because we're very.
Fascinating for me. I don't wear the hijab. But
it's interesting because it's like I watch a lot of anime and anime but it's obviously not just like I look this stuff up to find out if it's like reality or not, right? Because anime
based on how they're getting their inspiration
and it's like something I learned too was like back I don't know, it might be different now, right? Because language always transforms, but when I was like in middle school looking this shit up, I found that, like, they didn't have a word for stepbrother or stepsister. They would say like a sister or like a brother. Mm-hmm. And see, like, you're going to have to fact check, Jordan. I'm sorry. Right. But, like... no worries. We're going to end it soon. But, like, the whole idea was, like, even though, like, let's say, like, two families merge, and but they still weren't considered siblings. Like, it was, like, it was seen as very, like, hush-hush. Like, you didn't talk about it. Like, this was, like, I don't know, like 15 years ago, though. It could be different now. Like, culture and language is always changing. But when I was in middle school, like, watching this stuff, I was always confused about the whole, like, stepsister, stepbrother thing. I'm like, this is, like, weird. They're always going in territories I don't understand. And I'm just like, because here it's like, we recognize you are now my sibling. Like, I'm not going to cross that line. But they would cross that line all the time in anime. And I was like, oh.
Yeah. I know a lot of cultures around the world have their own unique, different ways of how they relate people to families,
Yeah.
right? Like in some cultures,
they're like definitions.
everyone's an aunt and everyone's an uncle, but
Yeah.
they're not really by blood. But you just call them auntie,
Yeah,
auntie, auntie this, uncle this, and stuff like
yeah.
that, right? So.
Like that I've heard that a lot too, especially in Asian culture. It's like very common for them to call someone auntie or uncle, even though they're just like a person across the street.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So it's interesting, okay. So we didn't even get on the topic we were gonna talk about.
No, but that's okay. We'll save it for another time on the next Just Another Podcast between B and Z.
We're gonna talk about consciousness.
Yeah, of course.
And then we're gonna talk about animals and how it relates to that. So stay tuned to that. And now we're gonna leave.
Thanks for coming by.
Now we're gonna go.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're good.
Cut.